Hey YouTube, it's Drunk Monk 74 here, just bringing you some gameplay of Sector Control on Harrow Dunes, I believe. Anyway, before the game actually starts, you'll see me at the start of this game just be dicking around with my setup, and that's basically because I'm going to be playing a class I don't normally play, which is Pointman. Normally either sniper or spec ops or assaulter. You know, and probably like a lot of people out there, I just think that, or I used to think that the Pointman class was a bit pointless, to be honest. You know, it's the weapon's not as powerful as, well, your primary weapon's not as powerful as the assaulter. You know, you're not as quick as spec ops. You don't have grenades like assaulter or spec ops. You've got flashbangs. You know, so it all seemed a bit like pointless to me. You know, like a lot of the other classes, when I come up against them, and you'll see at the start of this match as well, when I come up against a lot of the other classes 1-to-1, I tend to lose, and so it used to irritate me, this class. But then during this gameplay I started to change how I played it, and basically the biggest strength for me anyway, the biggest strength of this class is its mobility. He moves really quick. I think Spec Ops is the only other class that moves quicker than him, and if you use that, and how I mean use it is to use it to flank, you will do really good. So like at the start of this game I got that quick kill, but the rest of it for a while you'll see me just die, and that's because I basically was trying to either rush around a corner like I would with Spec Ops, you know, and even though yeah, their weapons aren't quite strong, I think they fire a lot quicker and a bit more accurate, so you get a lot more rounds on target, so you can bring someone down quite quick. Or I was sitting back a bit too much like I would with assaulter, and the weapon just wasn't doing quite enough damage. So and it was only a bit later on in the match that I started playing a bit differently and started trying to flank in, started trying to come up behind people, and it seemed to be quite successful. You know, and one last thing I'll mention about Pointman is someone might think, you know, it's quite an overpowered class. You've got a fairly decent primary coupled with a shotgun. You will see later on in this vid that the shotgun is not like a shotgun in Battlefield 3, for example. You can't use it in that sort of like close to mid-range. It is very close range only, and you know, I can understand why they've done it. The maps are that much smaller on Medal of Honor, so if you had the same sort of range as you had on a shotgun in BF3, it would be an overpowered weapon, but they balanced it nicely, and it's being used how it should be, which is like to clear out rooms. Anyway, so going to Sector Control, which is what this video is actually about. My biggest thing when I play Sector Control is the central sector. It irritates the crap out of me that when a match starts, if I'm playing with a bunch of randoms, like, it's unbelievable the amount of players from the team who will just squat on that first sector. You know, alright, yeah, you will catch it quicker, but there's no one there. Like, the enemy's not going to get anywhere near you. You have all the time in the world to cap that. Central sector, that's where you want to get to. That's where you need to cover. That's where you start your defensive lines. And it's that little comment there, the defensive lines, just reminded me of one last thing about Medal of Honor, what people mentioned about it, about people camping too much and stuff like that. This is not Call of Duty. It is not Battlefield 3. You do have to defend. In, for example, Battlefield 3, if you ever played Conquest, people would just cap the flag, run off, cap the next one. You know, there'd be very few people defending an actual flag. In Medal of Honor, it's a completely different ball game, and defending your objective is almost as important as capturing it. So that's all you're getting. You're getting a lot of people. Yes, there are the odd camper here and there, but it's nowhere near as bad as people make out. You just have to defend your objective. You have to create your defensive line. You want the enemy to try and break through you. You know, if you've ever had to try and break through one of the lines that they've been created in Medal of Honor, you'll realise how hard it is. You know, like right now, right here, they were capping this flag. We're now capping it. You know, there's a few of us all around there, capping the flag, defending the flag, defending the areas, defending the flank points. Sorry. And that's how it works. That's how it should work. You know, you don't need to have everyone on the flag. You know, it's only a couple of hundred points you get. It's not going to make that much of a difference to your end score. Like making sure that your team cap that flag, and you know, you lose as many tickets as possible. That's probably just as important. You know. So basically, what I try and do is I try and get to central sector, and I will try and find a nice defensive position. It's a lot easier with assault, granted, because you know, it's got a much more powerful weapon, primary weapon anyway. So you can sit back a little bit further. You can start defending. But right here, like there, you know, I knew there was no point me try and go one-on-one with him. So I used the mobility to just get around him and flank him and take him from the side. And if you continue to play like that, you'll be alright. And right here you'll see, you know, the shotgun. It's nowhere near, you know, powerful enough to be classed as overpowered. You know, you have to be up close and personal to use that thing effectively anyway. So I just think it's another thing that Medal of Honor got right, that each class has got strengths and weaknesses, and if you play a class to its strengths and weaknesses, then you will do well. If you try and play every class the same, or you try and play a class as you would in a different game, you won't do so well. And I think that's basically what people are moaning about. You know, they're not being able to play the game how they would normally play a game. But it's so nice to be able to play a game in a different way. You know, like if the same play style could be used for every game, it'd be fairly boring. So yeah, so sector control, I'd get there to central sector, try and find a defensive position, and the theory being, yes, you'll get a couple of early kills if you're lucky, but mostly if you get those kills, the enemy team have nowhere else to spawn apart from the one flag they've already got, or their home base. Which means they're pushed back. You've not only just killed a couple of people, you've actually pushed them back, sorry, quite far in the map. So, which means you can then just push up a bit further. You push up a bit further, and you try and kill a couple more people, and you push up a bit more again from there. And that's how you will be successful in this game. Slow your gameplay down a bit, get a couple of kills, push up a bit, get a couple more, push up a bit more, and you just keep doing that. And you know, as long as you're not playing with complete muppets, you're not likely to lose the flag that's set at your home base. You know, so try and cap that central flag and try and keep hold of it, because you will find it so easy to get those kills if the enemy are just pushing up, trying to get there, and they're rushing it. And right here is what I'm talking about, Pointman, its ability to move around. I just flanked these two guys. I know there's a third person up there, but I know my mate just needs a little bit of health there, that he called out. And that's it. Game over. We won, and it's all because if you play a certain way in a certain style, you will win. Anyway, that's me done. I will catch you later. Cheers.
Yep.
If it wasn't for Neil stealing half my kills now, I'd have gone way better.
No, that's called teamwork. That's why you have a fire team. You damage him, your buddy kills him.